Hello everyone, welcome to this video featuring the Darkness statue by XM Studios. This is a quarter scale statue and yeah, it's very impressive. You just saw me assemble this piece, so you probably already have quite an impression of how detailed it is and how many small bits and pieces go into this statue as a whole. And before we move on, I'd like to give a shout out to Jan, who is a fellow Danish collector who actually borrowed me this statue so that I could do this video. Thanks a lot for that, Jan. I really appreciate it because this is an amazing statue and I'm really happy to see it with my own eyes. Yeah, but this is a statue created by XM Studios in collaboration with Studio Hive. It's sculpted by Fausto Gutierrez and it's made in 999 samples, just your typical edition size from XM Studios. And as typical, you also get this artwork here. Basically all XM Studio statues come with a very nice artwork, and this is created by Studio Hive, and it kinda is what inspired this statue, I guess. So it was kind of the concept of this statue. But yeah, it's a massive statue, as you can see here. I have this thing here so I can actually measure its height, which is 73 centimeters. So yeah, this is quite an amazing statue in terms of size as well. It's quite towering in a collection, and it weighs, I think, around 20 kilograms. So it's really a massive piece, I would say. So yeah, I'm gonna do a 360 here. For this video, I'm gonna do what I usually do. So I'm gonna divide it up into sections where I focus on individual parts of the statue, going over the paint and the sculpt and everything. And then in the very end of this video, I'm also going to throw in a photo gallery with all the images that I've taken for this review here, just so that you get it all served in one go as well. It's a really big and detailed piece, so it's going to be difficult to capture all the details by just filming it like this. So I'm going to throw in these photos as they become relevant throughout the course of this video. So yeah, I hope you'll enjoy this video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go right ahead now and talk about, well, let's talk about the face of this character here to begin with and go over all the details there. So let me set up the camera and we'll have a closer look. Alright, so here we are up close to the face here of this character, and I do believe that this character is that of Jackie Estacado. Now, I don't really know much about the Darkness universe and all that, but I did a bit of research before doing this video, and I do believe that the current wielder of the Darkness is named Jackie Estacado. So let's just go with that assumption for the rest of this video, because I think that's the case. But yeah, the face is relatively simple actually. Whenever Jackie is empowered by the Darkness, his entire body is covered in this organic body armor, and as you can see on his face, he also has this metal kinda faceplate going on here. So there's actually not that many skin tones going on here. You can't really see his actual face or what he looks like. Instead, you have a few skin tones going on the forehead and just underneath his jaw, and that's basically it. But still, what we get here is a very clean sculpt. I really love the way that they did this faceplate here. It's nicely painted as well. The metal parts are nicely divided by these thin black lines that are precisely applied to the sculpt here. So there's no paint bleeding or overlapping going on, as I can tell. And yeah, even though most of his face is actually covered, you still get a lot of expression here. You see the wrinkles above his nose and eyes here makes him look kind of aggressive and angry. So you still have an actual expression going on here, I think. The eyes are a bit sunk, but they look nicely painted as well. They have this very contrasting gilded or yellow color. It's actually quite difficult to see it from the angle I'm at right now. It looks a bit gilded, I think. So yeah, a nicely applied and clean sculpt going on here. The hair is dark or black, and you have your typical highlights and shading going on here as well. So overall, I really feel that this is nicely done. There isn't that much to talk about, I think, but it's still an important aspect of the statue. I feel that the face here with the skin tones that are peeping out, it kind of makes for a center center of focus of this statue somehow, in the sense that it actually stands in quite a stark contrast to the rest of this piece, which is overall green and metallic looking. You have these skin tones that are actually quite vivid, popping out, and it kind of steals your focus, and I think that's great because you need to, well, there's a lot of stuff going on here, so it's nice to have this area of the statue that your eyes will rest on, I think. So yeah, nicely done, and you can barely see him, but he has this little darkling standing on his shoulder. The darklings are the monsters or beasts that the darkness can actually summon. And yeah, you have that going on basically everywhere on this statue, and we'll see that later on in this video. Right, let's zoom out and have a look at the body of this piece here, and discuss all the details and the awesome execution that XM put in here as well. Alright, so here we see his body, and as you can see, his muscles are clearly defined basically all over this piece, and he's wearing this green piece here, this suit, which is actually his body armor. It looks very awesome. I think it sits very tightly, so all his muscles are really popping out. He looks very powerful and very strong here. And I love the pose that he also has here with his arms to the sides here, and then his hands and fingers in this claw-like pose. It looks very cool, I think, and very, very intimidating somehow. And yeah, the green suit here is textured with these wavy patterns. It can be hard to tell actually. If I turn him a bit, you can better see it. It's kind of difficult to resemble it to any or compare it to any known material. It's just this organic body armor that he's wearing, I think. It's nicely shaded and highlighted and has this very dark look. And in various locations underneath the green you see these gilded areas, as if he's wearing an undersuit actually, and it kind of pops out underneath this green one. And it's this play between the gold and the green that really looks unique, I think. I've never seen anything similar to this character design before. And his hands, of course, are covered in these organic looking techno-organic things, the gauntlets here. And it's very reminiscent of the gauntlet that Witchblade is wielding, and they are from the same universe, so I guess that makes a lot of sense somehow. Also around his neck here, he also has this kind of silvery piece of jewelry almost, and it has this yellow gem in it, and you see the same gems going on his palms here and also on his arms. He has some red ones, a green one here. So it's a very unique design. It's a nice mixture of something ancient and then something very modern and futuristic, and that's the unique appearance that this character has, I think. But overall, I feel that the sculpt of the character is very, very well done. The anatomy is just spot on, and the paint application on top of that is just very suitable. I think it really gives him this very quality look in all aspects, I think. And I just love the play between the green and the gilded areas. It's a very, very unique design, in my opinion. Also, his legs are covered in these metallic parts here. They are a bit more defined as actual specific armor pieces here, similar to that of his faceplate. So yeah, they look a bit more simple, but it's again a nice surface and nice flat and even coating here on the metal parts. It looks awesome, I think. Again, if you've seen the comics, I'm sure that you'll be able to recognize the character design going on here. I think it looks perfect. And he also has yet another Darkling sitting here on top of this beast here. They're kind of nice small creatures. I really like the way that they complement this overall theme of this character here. Alright, so let's have a look at the base now. There's a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the base, so let's just dive right in. Alright, so here we have the base, and as you probably noticed up until this point, this is a very rich and detailed base. There's a lot of stuff going on with all these small creatures and Darklings sitting on top of it. And normally I wouldn't say that I'm really a fan of a detailed and too distracting base, because as I said, it becomes a bit distracting and it takes away too much of the attention from the main character and spreads it out on top of the base. But in the case of this statue, I kind of feel that it makes sense to create a detailed base with all these creatures on top, because I find this to be a significant quality of this character here, kind of an aspect of him that's important to include, that he can actually summon this army of darkness basically, with all these strange demon-like creatures. And I feel that if he was just standing on top of a pile of skulls without all these beings present, it would seem kind of lackful, I think, and it wouldn't really give you the correct impression of this character and what he's all about. So in this case, I kind of feel that it makes sense, and it contributes to the overall impression of this statue. I also do consider this statue to be kind of like the prime representation of this character, and it just makes sense in that case to include these aspects here, because then you get a truthful impression of what this character is all about. Now he's standing on top of this large pile of enormous humanoid skulls here. Don't know really what the deal about them is. Maybe that makes sense if you're more familiar with the comics, I don't know. And on top of the pile of skulls you have the body of the serpent that he's standing on top of. It's kind of like twirling around on top of this pile of skulls here. And this leads me maybe to one of my few or only criticisms of this statue, and this is also something that the owner Jan, he pointed out to me when he delivered this piece to me, and that is that if you look at these snake heads here that I also showed you in my assembly part, now if you trace the snake's head all the way to the top, you'll notice that in some areas there's kind of like the flow of the skull kind of is broken up, as if it's disrupted by these breakages somehow. And it just simply seems like these are the joints that comprise the whole entirety of the snake's head. And instead of being just very gracefully flowing, you can actually notice where the heads are put together and joined together. And I think that's a shame, because it takes a bit away from the organic and flowing feel of this statue. And it looks like it's, well, they could have done a better job basically with how the heads are connected into the base here, make it more seamless, as well as the flow along the necks here. But that's basically my only real criticism, I think, of this piece here, because other than that, I feel that the details and the attention to this statue is perfect. The paint application all over the base is nicely done in these very low-key color pattern here. You have kind of like a purple skin tone going on here, but it's also very black or darkish, and you have a very nice texture also to these larger beasts here. And also the mouths of them is something that you'll really notice, because they has this contrasting fleshy color along with a very shiny wet kind of like finish. It looks beautiful. I think they could maybe have made the teeth a bit more dirty and yellowish. They seem a bit too clean somehow, and they could maybe even have added some blood splatter or something like that, just to make this look a bit more gruesome somehow. You have all these small guys. There's a darkling standing here, and also underneath here there's a darkling guy, and also right there. They are kind of funny, I think. They don't look that scary, but they kind of look like gremlins or something like that. And they are nice details and additions to this piece here. It's something that you'll notice, and rather than looking scary, they maybe look a bit cute, maybe. I don't really know. But it's a nice contrasting theme here going on, I think. But yeah, overall the base is very, very impressive. It's huge, of course, but it makes sense, I think. It's a vital aspect of this character to include all this, so I like the design choice when it comes to that. Alright, I think that's everything about the base. I'm gonna zoom out again now and give you an overview shot of this piece as I wrap up this review here. Alright, I think that basically wraps up my thoughts about the individual aspects of this piece here, but before I forget, let me just add a few words about this little guy here, which is actually a separate statue that you get along with the main one here. It features one of these smaller darkling characters, and he looks very cool, I think. It really goes to show the dedication that XM Studios throws into their statue releases. It's as if they really want to go that extra mile and impress the collectors, and I can really appreciate that about XM Studios. keep in mind they always also throw in this artwork that you get along with your statue. I think that's a very cool thing, and I think XM Studios are really on the right path when it comes to stuff like that. Now, returning to the statue itself, this is a very big and immense piece here. I have the Ghost Rider by XM Studio as well. It's also very big and heavy, but it's more of a wide piece, whereas this one is just big in a different way, I think. And yeah, if you have this piece in your collection or in your display, I think it's certainly going to be a piece that's going to grab the attention of yourself, but also any onlooker that you might that there might be of your collection. I mean, it's a centerpiece and it's really going to stand out, I think. It's a towering statue, it has a very commanding presence, and it's just very, very impressive when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, this is definitely a worthy representation of the Darkness character. I can only imagine what it must feel like to be a true fan of this universe here, being able to actually own a piece like this that really captures the essence of the character, but also represents the whole universe that he stands for quite well. I would never have expected to see a piece like this. So yeah, I'm really, on behalf of the true fans, I'm really excited, because this is definitely something very, very remarkable, I think. The paint application of this piece is perfect, almost. I haven't really noticed any flaws at all when it comes to the paint application. Particularly the mouths of these beasts here is something that you're really going to notice, because it stands out as a contrasting color. And I love the texture and the finish of these fleshy areas here. The only thing that I might have changed would have been to maybe make the teeth a bit more yellow and dirty, and maybe I would have added some blood spatter or something, just to increase the level of gruesomeness kind of to this piece here. But other than that, I can't really point out any flaws about it. It's really well executed by the factory here. And I also just loved all the small details. It's a piece that you really want to get up close to in order to really take in all the details. Both when it comes to the base, with all these small darkling characters hiding in smaller crooked areas of this piece here, they're really hidden well, I think. But also just in terms of the main character, his body armor and everything, his gauntlets here with the gems on top of them, well, kind of embedded into them. It's something that you really want to walk up close to in order to be able to take in all the details. So yeah, I essentially feel that this is a very, very strong representation of the character and the universe that he stands for. And as I said, on behalf of fans, I'm really excited. I can really see how this must be an important key statue when it comes to collecting Top Cow, Darkness, Witchblade stuff. So yeah, that's really cool, I think. So yeah, I think I don't really have much else to add at this point. I think I covered everything from the sculpt to the paint and just the overall design of this piece, which is kind of the main things, I think. But if you have any questions, do leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful, and I hope that you got a good impression of what this statue contains in terms of aesthetics. As I've said, I don't really know all that much about this statue or this character, but I have a pretty good sense of what he stands for from an aesthetic point of view, I think. And I really feel that this statue delivers on that account. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching, and again, leave any comments or questions below, and do remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video.